One of the most terrifying things about a scary film, whether it's a horror, thriller, or slasher, is its claim to be based on a true story. The use of the original narrative as inspiration and filmmakers' artistic license must, of course, be balanced. Still, no one wants to think about the movies like The Silence of the Lambs or American Psycho contain even a tiny amount of truth. Recently, there has been a growing curiosity and attraction among the general public for serial killers and true crime. So in today's video, we will discuss the top 5 movies based on real murderers. On number 5, we have the film Dahmer. Like the murderer himself, the movie generated a great deal of controversy. On Rotten Tomatoes, the 2002 movie received a 72% fresh rating from critics, indicating that they thought it was well worth seeing. On the other side, viewers had a negative reaction to the movie. But if you consider yourself to be somewhat of a film enthusiast, you shouldn't definitely dismiss it entirely. The narrative paints a picture of a troubled young man and the disturbing, savage ways he exerted his disturbances on others. The, at least 17 male victims of his murders, dismemberments, and sometimes necrophilia and cannibalism. You'll probably enjoy the non-linear, partially reverse chronological story if that describes you. It's simple to understand why this movie moved critics more than viewers. It appears to provide an explanation for one of history's most horrific serial killers. Number 4 on this list is The Strangers, a psychological horror movie from 2008. The fact that this film was based on not one but 2 actual events, the notorious Manson family murders and a string of break-ins that occurred in the neighborhood where director Brian Bertino grew up, is one of the scariest things about it. His film was distinctive because it refused to explain the reasons behind the home invader's misery, leaving an undeniably long-lasting impression. The name, The Strangers, is so terrifyingly appropriate because you can't foresee or account for a stranger's actions, the same way you can with someone you know because you don't know them. Bertino reminds us that when a stranger kills someone, the victim will never understand why they were chosen. To them, it appears to be a random act of violence. So instead of the FBI-profiled explanation of motive, he preferred to tell that tale. On number 3, we have the backpacker killer, whose actual name was Ivan Milat, who served as the inspiration for Wolf Creek. Even after Milat never admitted to the killings before he committed suicide in prison, his narrative continued to pique people's morbid curiosity over the bodies of 7 backpackers, all of whom were tourists or travelers, were found in a secluded Australian jungle. Again, the movie's shockingly extreme violence and depravity startled the audience. Roger Ebert said he wanted to walk out of the theater and keep walking. That sounds almost like an invitation to horror fanatics looking for another endurance test, though. Number 2 on the list is The Frozen Ground. The genuinely scary movie is based on Robert Hansen, often known as the Butcher Baker, an Alaskan serial killer who hunted down 17 women in the wilds of Alaska like some twisted predator. Even though he employed several weapons, including a knife and a gun, it can be said that the environment served as a source of anxiety. In addition, the film provides a sobering portrayal of the difficulties faced by sex workers, who are frequently the targets of violence, as they deal with the often prejudiced views of law enforcement. Cindy Paulson, played by Hudgens, is a prostitute who manages to escape Hansen's grasp after being kidnapped and beaten. However, no one wants to side with her against the upstanding Family Guy Robert Hansen because of her occupation and the fact that she lies about her age. And finally, number 1 on the list is The Snowtown Murders, which is a powerful movie with an unsettling endurance test. It's undoubtedly an investment, and given its 2-hour length and gritty subject matter, you have to put in a lot of effort before seeing any return. The depravity that permeates this otherwise well-made movie about the murders that were also known as the Corpses in the Barrels murders is what draws viewers in. The story of 3 murderers, John Bunting, Robert Wagner, and James Velasakis, is masterfully written, but at the same time, unwatchable. Even among die-hard horror lovers, completing this paradoxical experiment is an accomplishment. This was it for this video. Let us know in the comment box if you've watched these movies, or if you feel any other movie should be included on this list. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.